I'm sorry, y'all, but we're about to get real. Welcome everybody, I'm RJ of The Nerdy Brew, and here on this channel we talk TV, movies, and everything in between, all while drinking a cup of coffee. Now if you like one of those things or all of those things, won't you consider subscribing and hit that notification bell and becoming a fellow Brewster. So today, fellow Brewsters, this is a coffee talk. This coffee talk is impromptu. I just needed to get my thoughts out, get it out here, not to have content, but maybe to have content, but to also have a conversation. So the internet is mad right now, or in a frenzy. A full conversation is going on about Cleopatra, the queen, right? And with this Cleopatra queen, it's Cleopatra the 7th of the Ptolemy Dynasty. And there's a new documentary coming out produced by Jada Pinkett Smith. And she is promoting that Cleopatra was black. And now her promoting this in this trailer. Nobody's seen the documentary, but it's just a lot of historical facts based around this historical figure. Why that is a fallacious statement, and there's so much complexity behind her making this documentary, and also the fact of impeding on this historical figure, and the waters are really muddy based behind it.
It's possible that she was an Egyptian.
I imagine her to have curly hair like me and a similar skin color.
I remember my grandmother saying to me, I don't care what they tell you in school, Cleopatra was black.
She has become an icon.
I am a god, queen of kings.
Her story resonates with every woman.
So I want to talk about the Ptolemy Dynasty that ruled Egypt. They ruled Egypt for about 300 years. And the thing about that particular dynasty, first and foremost, was coming out of colonizer mindset. Alexander the Great died. And when he died, at the age of 32, through his military campaign, he captured or conquered the known world, all the territories that they known. Through Persia, he conquered. He died, and then it was for his generals. And then with the for his generals, it got passed down to their territories. And that region, or the Ptolemies and the first Ptolemy, happened to have that region, which was Egypt and Upper Macedonia of Greece, and between the Mediterranean. He had that area, and he made his dynasty. And the thing is about this particular dynasty, they were the Targaryens, and it was a practice custom amongst Egypt first and foremost. For example, King Tut, he was a product of in loving between family members. And so since he's a product, his immune system wasn't that good, and he ended up passing away very young, at a very young age. So those kind of things were practiced because they believed that they were divine, and they wanted to keep their bloodline pure. So with that being said, the same customs got passed down to the Ptolemy dynasty. So with the Ptolemy dynasty, it was kind of really mixed up between brother and sister was getting together, sister was marrying nephew, nephew marrying auntie, auntie marrying mommy. It was just all of that, cousins marrying aunts, and it was just real mixturing again and again and again. And certain, and there was the one that we talking about, the most famous, the last pharaoh, was Cleopatra the 7th. So we need to take in account that first and foremost, that this was Macedonia, this was Greek bloodline, this was Greek phenotype, this is Greek ethnicity. That's what's first and foremost. So promoting that Cleopatra was black in a historical aspect is very disingenuous. So, excuse me. So, I am a blackologist. I believe in so much black history that is pseudo information, right? So, whatever you know about people who think that all things was black, I'm one of those people. Whatever you believe that to be, there's certain things that we know with scientific proof, for sure. But a lot of information that I've gone to lean into that is not supported by the consensus, I'm okay with that. And I just feel very much so in tune with my ethnicity.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm black.
So, with that being said, we don't need her. Jada, I'm talking to you, Miss Slapsmith, right?
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? Yo.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm out here. Uh-oh, Richard. Will Smith smacked the shit out of it. Will Smith smacked the shit out of it. Will Smith smacked the shit out of it. Smack the shit out of it. Smack the shit out of it.
Let them have her. First of all, the only thing that she was a competent ruler. She was not like setting up reform, or she wasn't like, a military genius. She did a lot of conniving things, side chick, and also with knowing that she was an inbred individual, her beauty has been exaggerated. Her beauty has been propagandized for people to have this awe about this historical figure, for them to lean on, of that we have always had this regalness, this beauty, and this superiority. But the fact of the matter is, this person was disfigured and this person had these issues, and I just feel like this is why I said it gets muddy, because there has been so much culture appropriation that has happened within the media. There was Mickey Rooney who played a Chinese man in Breakfast at Tiffany's. There was Laurence Olivier who played Othello. And it's just that there has been this appropriation again and again. And then you got, the minstrel shows from back in the day. And what was the other one? Give me 1 second, y'all. Birth of a Nation. And portraying black people as monsters. And so I don't know if this was Jada Pinkett's intention to get everybody riled up. But even in the movie Exodus, at the time of Exodus, believe it or not, that's neither here nor there about your personal beliefs towards it, or believing it's a myth, or whatever the case may be. But dealing with the time period of this example of a story, those people were not of Caucasian or European descent. They were pretty much at the same kind of phenotype of the region, how early it was in human development. So it wasn't going to be a whole bunch of, that kind of deficiency towards lactose and milk. That wasn't probably part of their DNA and their structure just yet. So the point is saying this, so for her to say in a place to the media that Cleopatra was black was probably her being petty in a slight of saying that this has happened so many times to black people in black culture, or any other people of color to be mocked at. And this is probably her dig and her jab at that. But at the same time, that's not that's not a good figure to try to promote, or that's not even a good figure, because to the point that I'm trying to make is that there were amazing Egyptian and African queens all in itself that could have the promotion where the controversy and doesn't have to come from somebody who's already established, when you could create something authentic and something new and something refreshing and something enlightening to new masses about historical figures that we don't know about from the diaspora, with focused on the Afrocentric paradigm. And I'll give you an example of some queens that I already knew about that were melanin efficient. So look, here's some queens that I want to bring to everybody's attention. And this is just a few, because there's just so many black women that have been pivotal in the development of humankind. So here's some queens that could be highlighted upon even if it was fictional or otherwise in a documentary. So there's Queen Amos Nefertiti. All right, she was a wife of another pharaoh who also happened to be black. There's Queen Ty Hatshepsut. She's very famous. She ruled a peaceful dynasty, and she's equated to the Temple of Luxor. And then there's Queen Nefertiti and herself. We all know her famous bust with her geometrical jawline. Queen Makeda, who is attributed to be the Queen of Sheba, even though legendary, there can still be a narrative and a conversation about the Queen of Sheba, who is Queen Makeda. And then there's Queen Idea of Benin, who was a warrior queen. So I know the history gets very muddied, and there has been a lot of racial epithets and underlining between the whole heritage and the tug of war between ancient Egypt, for them to leave such a historical record with great archaeology and great history. A lot of people do feel like they need to be tied, but we need to bring it to the fact that, one, Egypt was a hub. Egypt was New York at the time, where many different people groups and cultures were mixing together at the height of its power, all the way up to Cleopatra the 7th. And they were warring with Nubia or Kush, that was Lower Egypt, for years. Nubia took over in the 25th dynasty, and they have their pyramids south of the Gaza pyramids, or the Great Pyramids. So, and they ruled Egypt for 100 years. So there are definitely a foothold of African people inside of Egypt. Check me on that. I'll even put the link in the description for the 25th dynasty, a part of Egypt that ruled for 100 years. And so with that being said, let me tell you that the anti-black is so rampant that there's a man who put a petition out, who's so upset to try to sue Netflix to stop doing it, to talk about Egypt's culture, because he doesn't want black people to be attributed to it. But the fact is that Cleopatra was Greek. She was Greek, and not only that she was Greek, she was also not of the greatest of health, and she wasn't of the best of blood. So I don't even know why would anybody try to latch on to that when it could just be fleeting information of a historical figure. So with all that being said, I'm gonna bring this video to an end. I just really got hot and bothered, and I wanted to throw my 2 cents in there. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I might have probably riled up some feathers, but that's just my perspective on it. That's all. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and here we are. But I don't feel like the lady should be using propaganda for misinformation. But we're going to bring this video to an end. And I want you to be you, do you, see the bigger picture. Have a fantastic day because you deserve it. This is that channel. Peace.
Mouth on top, kung fu, Bruce Lee chop, moon rocks, go Red Sox, tryna go far like boondocks, headshot, blunt stay hot, talking shit, gotta pull up on they block, you fraud, I'm Couchgod.